basis administrator, most of the time you will get to know about that is the system is slow, the job is running for such a long time, the system is not responding properly. I'm not able to do my job. So most of the time, you'll get to you'll have tickets like that, because in SAP app, when you log in and when something goes wrong, it shows up an error message like please contact system administrator. So whatever happens, they immediately come back to us. So they come to basis saying that this is not working, that is not working. Okay. So first of all, we need to identify which is actually a technical issue and which is actually a functional issue. Okay. As a basis administrator, first we should be able to identify when I say what is the issue, you need to know what type of issue it is, whether it's a technical issue or it is a functional issue. Okay, technical issue is very clear, like the system slowness. Okay, job running for longer time. Maybe system still down. Okay, so those are the technical issues. And functional issues like, say for example, in a particular screen, SAP screen, user needs to enter a string. Okay, instead he entered some numbers. So automatically system will throw out an error saying that illegal format, illegal name format, okay, number format or overflow, something like this. So we cannot hold responsibility for something that the user has inputted wrong in some wrong text letters. Okay, so those things are functional issues. Most of the functional issues are configuration issues. Okay, once the system is properly configured, technically we should not be getting any functional issues. At the same time, it will not happen in just a fraction of a second. It will take its own time. Okay, so after the system is go live, maybe 2 or 3 months. By 2 or 3 months, they definitely will set the configuration issues. They will fix all the configuration issues. But after that, there are certain places where you will get this illegal name format, overflow, or wrong type for file format. Okay, those things are the functional issues. So we should be able to know about what type of issues first. So if it is a technical issue, only then we can jump into find out the cause. Okay. If not, then we have to push it back to the functional issue, saying that this is not a technical issue, it's a functional issue. Please check with the proper team or something like that. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now we know that it is a technical issue. Okay. What are all the key codes that we can check the technical issues? Okay. First one is SMLG. These are all the key codes. Okay. SMLG is a logon group where you can see the response time as well. Okay. Let me log into the production system. Okay. So SMLG shows that these are all the application servers, AP01, AP02, and AP03. They are clubbed it under some logon groups, dialog logon groups, public logon groups, system groups. WinShuttle is used for a specific purpose, so that's what it is segregated. Okay, other than that 121212, which is assigned to dialog, public, or whatever it is, but WinShuttle is something different. Okay, so here, if you go and change your load distribution, okay, so in the load distribution, see, the response time is really good. One point, it is not 1 point, it is actually 1000. Okay, so 1232 millisecond is definitely it is a proper response time. If it is a milliseconds, right? So millisecond in the sense what 1232 divided by 60. So it is 20 seconds. 20 seconds response time for 69 users is really good. Okay, we can't say it as a poor response. Okay, let's say for example, what happens if the response time goes on to 20,000 milliseconds for the same user, 69 user. Okay, 20,000 milliseconds for 69 users. Okay, I'm just converting this milliseconds to seconds. So it is 333 seconds. If it comes to minutes, it is 5 minutes. 5 minutes is definitely a very high response time in SAP. Okay, so SAP is designed in such a way that the response times are very, very quick and very, very smaller. So even if it is 1 minute, also it is considered to be a slow performance degradation. Okay, so we need to find it out what is causing the issue. So we need to find out what are all the jobs that are currently running in SM37. Okay, which is a long running job. If a particular job is consuming more memory, we have to find it out. Or if it is really a network problem, okay, so in all angles we'll be able to find it. Okay, so first one is SMLG, as I said. ST22 is where you see the runtime environment, that illegal name thing, all those things you can see it in ST22. This is duplicate error. This is purely functional. Duplicate error, there is nothing we can do from our side. Okay, and this I type duplicate key. Most of the thing is duplicate key error only. So those things we cannot do. So it's a functional team. So we have to inform the functional team to work into that. Nothing from our side. Okay. ST22, SM21. Okay, SM21 is the system logs. Okay, to see whether there are any connections are being lost. Okay, so all those things you can see it over here. Then SM21, runtime duplicate error, blah blah blah, work process, stop, start. So the one which is shown in red color are really critical, but we need to find it out. Okay, why, what happened to that part? So when you double click it, will go. You can see more information on that. Okay, but this is not a performance issue, but that's the regular monitoring thing. But SMLG is a performance issue that we need to check. Okay, whenever there is a performance issue, jump to SMLG to see those things. And as previously also we saw SM04. It will show the memory consumed by each user. Okay, if you sort it in a different way, say for example, this FF T2P01 is running the T code SE16N with a memory of it's really taking a high memory, say 176 MB. Okay, it's consuming 176 MB. 176 MB is okay, but there are cases where we can see 1 GB or 2 GB for a single user itself. Okay, so that is something not acceptable. We need to find it out. We need to fix it out. We can directly log out the user from here. Okay, but don't do it on the production server. I'm just saying you that there is an option to do that. Don't do it on the production server. Okay, only when we see that there is no other way, we have to bring up the production system has to be recovered. In that situation only, we have to log out the user. So one is this. Okay, SM04, and the main thing comes here. 04, TAD and ST03. These are the two T codes which are very primarily used to see about the performance issue or any bad dialog response time. Okay, so whenever what is that? Hey, so whenever say for example, just let's go to STAD. Okay, so in STAD, I'm going to analyze what are all the jobs that has consumed more CPU or it has got more response time. Those things I'm going to find it out. Okay, so date and time is 5:34 for the length of 10 minutes. Okay, maximum at the max I can put 30 minutes. Okay, don't put 1 hour and other stuff. 30 minutes is fine. 30 minutes, and I'm going to execute it. Just press enter. So you can see at the bottom, RC started to get statistic data. So it will run for some time. So it will ping all the 3 application servers. It gets all the input, and it will be showing in the report will be shown like this. Okay. So here, if you see now, the response time, the time waiting, the CPU time, GB request time, these things are noted over here. So here we need to concentrate on the response time, CPU time, and the DB request. Okay. If you see, this seems to be the largest. Sorry, this one seems to be the highest response type, RS. Okay, so when you just double click it, It will show you all the details. What is the CPU time? What is the RFC time? Okay. What is even the work process? What is the job name? All those details you'll be able to see here. This is the job. It is a batch job. It is running in the application server 2. Okay. All those information you can see it over here. So this way we can identify what is the job which is causing this issue, which is the reason for a high response time. If you find out the CPU is heavily loaded, then you have to identify these 3 jobs. You have to check what is these 3 jobs, why is these 3 jobs consuming high CPU time. Okay, so just double click it, go to here and see what is the DB request time. This is nearly 107,000 milliseconds. Definitely that is a very high DB request. Okay, and if you see, the sequential rate is really high. The number of records that it has read is really high. Maybe that could be the reason. Okay, so again, this is a batch job running at the back end, and all the other information, the actual memory used, the external memory in use, the private memory in use, work process, whether it has gone to the private mode or not, no. Okay, so the maximum keep memories. So all this information you can see it here. Okay, so this way you can use this T code. See, there are a lot of entries, not only at the top. You have to come down entirely at the bottom to see which one is the highest. Okay, just identify the highest one, and then you can find it out what is the cause and others. Once you identify this, then it is easy to fix the issue. Okay. So this STAD T code is very useful in case of any bad dialog response time or any other slowness you can see. Okay. So for this STAD is instant checkup. Like maybe for one day you can check it. Okay. What happens if I need to check for 2-3 days before today? Okay, so there is a T code called ST03N, workload analysis. Okay, this is also a very useful T code that you should be knowing it. Okay, ST03N is another useful T code. You can even go and check in each and every application server, or even you can choose the date. Okay, choose a date, and then you can see the workload profile. Once you choose that, it will show you all the information. Okay, background, it shows in the background these many steps. Just double click it to see what are all the information that you can get from here. Okay, go to the time profile. So 0 to 6 p.m., 6 to 7, 7 to 8 a.m. So for each and every time it is actually segregating. Okay, so once you double click that, it will show you what are all the jobs that has run, which job has consumed most response time. Okay, so all those information you can get it here. So ST03N and STAD are the most useful T code in analyzing any front-end response time or DB response time. Okay. When it comes to performance issue, you should look into STAD T code and ST03N T code. Okay. And even what is it? SMLG. SMLG also is another T code that you can use to see the response time. Okay. Whenever a slowness is reported, you immediately have to jump into SMLG. Okay, so just log into SMLG to see which application server is having the problem. If all the 3 application servers are showing high response time, then definitely there is a problem with the network. Okay, but if you can see only one application server showing high response time, then you need to identify the job which is causing the high response time. Okay, so go to SM37, identify the jobs running on that particular application server, get the list, and from the list you have to identify why it is taking lot method. Okay, so this workload monitor and the statistic STAD T codes, once you get an access, you can just run through all these profiles. Okay, it will be very useful, but predominantly we go for time profile. Okay, time profile and workload overview are the very important things that we usually looking for. Okay, so this 2 T codes almost cover everything, performance monitor and other things. Performance bottlenecks, I think you might need to log into the operating system as well to find it out. As I said, top is a command which will show you the current CPU usage, the current memory, and other things. -M, the total GB, the memory allocated things will be there. will be shown. The RAM size will be shown in 3M. Okay. So those things also you need to see it. So whenever it is a performance issue, try to log into the SAP application server. If you are not able to log into the application server, then the only way is you have to jump into the operating system. Okay, so go to the operating system, try to see if the CPU usage or RAM usage is very high. Only if there is a high CPU usage and a high RAM, only in these cases only we will not be able to log into the application service. Okay, so there are many other multiple ways to identify things. You will get to know it once you start working on it. Every day, these are the three codes that we use. Okay, SCAD and SC03N, because the reason is we configured an alert which will automatically created whenever there is a high response time noted in the SAP system. Okay, so every day we will get an alert. I can show you sample alert. Okay, 1 second. Second, right? One second, hold on. Once the server node is down,